Thank you all again for being here. My name is Dalton Dye. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm an associate director with New Student Family Programs. I have a couple of our students here, and they'll introduce themselves in a little bit. But in the meantime, just so you all know, this meeting is being recorded. So if you, just so you're aware, there will be a Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen that you can use to ask questions as we're going throughout the presentation. There'll be a chance for you all to get those answered at the end or throughout the presentation as they pop up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can start going through our presentation here. And then we'll dive right on in. So give me 1 second. All right, perfect. Okay, so like I said, this is all about preparing for transfer move-in, experiential orientation, our last summer transition series of 2025. So if you've been at any of the previous summer transition series, welcome back. If this is your first one, we're glad you're here. We offer these webinars every week as a chance to get students connected to campus resources and learn from campus experts about everything they need to know before they arrive on campus in the fall. So if you haven't seen any of these yet, feel free to take a look back at our website and our YouTube page. It's a great way to get caught up on some resources and take care of all the final to-do list things you might have before you come to campus 2 weeks from today, which is crazy, but we're super excited to have you all joining us in a few very short weeks. A couple of housekeeping questions. As mentioned, there's a Q&A function at the bottom. That's going to be your best way to ask questions and get those answered for the entire group. Some responses, if it's like a one-off super particular question about your needs, you might get an answer via text. If it is a big broad question that's relevant to everybody, we'll answer it out loud. And even if it gets answered, we still might ask it, so that way people who are viewing the recording later can catch up and see the presentation and get that information. Like I said, it is being recorded. Once this is done, we'll get it sent and transcribed. Captions will be added, and then it'll be posted to our YouTube page and to our website. So you'll be emailed when that comes out as well. I think that's all of our housekeeping pieces. So I think with that, we can go ahead and do some introductions. As I mentioned, my name is Dalton. I'm an associate director with New Student and Family Programs. And part of my responsibility is working with Project Transfer and spearheading the transfer student experience here from our office. So I do have a couple of our project directors and students who are with us today, Ethan and Umahi. Umahi, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi everyone. My name is Umahi Agu. I'm one of the project directors. Project Transfer this year. I'm excited to meet everyone next week. A few things about me. I'm an econ major and I transferred to Duke 2 years ago. And I'm originally from I'm from Houston, Texas, but I'm Nigerian. So yeah, Ethan can.
All right, and then we got Ethan.
Everyone, for those of you who haven't met me, I'm Ethan Byrne. I'm the other project director for Project Transfer this year. Some things about me: I'm a rising senior studying public policy. I'm from Central New Jersey. I transferred also 2 years ago after my freshman year. And I'm also the president of the Transfer Student Union here at Duke. And I'm really excited to meet you all.
Great. Ethan and Umahi have been working honestly since January to start putting together Project Transfer. As students who went through it, their incoming year as new Duke students and came back last year to work as orientation leaders, they have a wealth of experience and have really put a lot of work into planning out the Experiential Orientation Week, which is great. So we'll talk a little bit about that here at the end of our presentation. So keep some questions there, put a pin in those, and we'll get to those later. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about tonight's agenda. So tonight you can expect us to go through some of the logistics of move-in, what you need to be working on now for the next 2 weeks before you get to campus, what actually is happening on move-in day, the different events and activities that are present and where you need to be and what you need to participate in there. And then we'll talk a little bit about experiential orientation, Project Transfer, what's all happening during O week, and then kind of looking ahead a little bit into the fall semester and some big events that are coming up on the horizon. So yeah, this is our agenda tonight. So I think the first and foremost, things to do before you arrive. What can you be working on now? I mentioned a little bit ago, but Reviewing any webinars in the Blue Book are some really great ways to get caught up on any material you might have missed earlier in the summer. So that's definitely an ongoing piece. You also can work to confirm your immunization records, see which immunizations you might be missing, and make a plan to get those before coming on campus. There will be an immunization clinic available during the first week, so you could do some of those on campus, but it's really going to depend on your specific needs and immunization records. EXO waivers. Every student should have received a link to a waiver in their inbox over the last month or so, and probably plenty of reminders. We do need a waiver from everybody before you can participate in project transfer. I believe as transfer students, everyone should be over the age of 18, but if you are under that, you do need to connect with your parent or guardian and get them to sign a part of that as well. So read your email for that. It's all being sent to your Duke email and it should be there if you Google if you look up in your inbox waivers. And then Duke card photos. So the deadline for this was technically the 31st, but you do need to submit a photo to go on your Duke card. That can all be done online as well. Again, you should have plenty of emails in your inbox that show you the links and the steps in order to complete that. You will be getting an email from housing. I don't believe it's gone out yet. I think it's supposed to go out tomorrow, but that details all the actual process and steps you need to complete in order to get ready for move-in. So please be sure to read that. It'll have all the instructions laid out, nice and clean and concise for you. So review that when you get it. The other pro tip I have is as far as coming to campus, even with the best of intentions, sometimes some packages and boxes can get lost in the shuffle of moving almost 90 students in over the course of the day. So before you come, pack up your belongings, label it with your room number, your name, and a phone number would be great. So that way, if something happens to get lost or mixed up in the shuffle, we can track down its rightful owner. So there's a little pro tip for you as well as you get ready to start packing. Great. Packing lists. So some items that we recommend for project transfer: sunscreen, athletic clothing, comfy shoes. Again, Ethan and Umahi will talk about this a little bit later, but there are some a lot of walking across campus that will need to be done. It is hot and humid in North Carolina in the summer, so being able to dress for the weather and find some success that way is going to be a really great pro tip as well. In general, we do have some commonly forgotten items. This includes formal and semi-formal attire, especially as you start looking at job interviews, internship interviews. Some of that stuff is going to be really helpful to have. Rain gear. It's raining right now on campus, so being prepared with boots, jackets, umbrellas is great. Cleaning supplies, shower shoes, command strips, hangers. A lot of these things you probably already know from your current living on campus experiences, but just want to reinforce those as they are commonly forgotten. Next slide here is move-in day schedule. So as I mentioned, there's an email coming from housing soon, so keep an eye out on your Duke email for that. In general, this is sort of the flow of the day. Again, more specifics will be in your inbox, so check that out when you get it. But you'll arrive at campus sometime between 9 and 5. If you're living on West Campus, you'll go to the HRL office in Kroll. If you're in Swift or Blue Light, they also have offices located on the premise there. That's where you'll check in to get your keys, get parking passes for the day, and get a little bit more detail about what you specifically need to do in order to move into your room. We're also going to be running a project transfer tent over on West Campus as well. So definitely the priority should be to move into your space, but at some point during the day, we need you to stop by the tent, connect with Ethan, Umahi, and some of the OLs, the orientation leaders, so that way they can get you some information. We'll have some shirts, some lanyards, some goodies to give you out there as well. So definitely stop by there to check in with our team in addition to the Res Life team. There'll be unloading zones near each of the buildings for you to park your car temporarily to unload your belongings. The parking pass, again, will be given out at check-ins. You'll have that there. It is temporary unloading zones. So housing is going to ask that when you pull up and unload your stuff, that the priority is to unload all of the belongings from your vehicle first, and then go move your vehicle to a more permanent parking location for the rest of the day, and then come back and unpack your room. As I might have mentioned, we have almost 90 students to be moving in this day. And so while we do have some space available close to the buildings, it fills up really quickly. And so we just ask that you are considerate neighbors and move your belongings or your cars out the way so other people can use that space as soon as possible. You are strongly encouraged to bring your own dollies and carts. We do not have any that are available for you all to use and borrow. So especially if you have to carry some things a little ways, or if you have heavy items, bringing your own cart is going to be really helpful and save your back that way. The other piece, you'll be spending the day unpacking and getting settled in. We do have a lot of local vendors that are around: Target, Walmart, Harris Teeter. So you don't feel like you have to have everything packed and brought with you. You'll be able to get it here when you come through. I do see a hand from Sylvia. I think maybe
Yes.
you have a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Dalton. I would like to know, you mentioned a couple of housing, but you didn't mention anything about getting parking tickets for Craven. Do you know which office would that be, the one getting the parking ticket?
Yes. So for Craven, you'll go to the main HRL office, which will be located in the Kroll building. So even for any of the buildings on West Campus, you'll all go to one central location, which is Kroll.
Kroll, is that you spell it Krowell?
Uh, it is Crowell.
Oh, okay.
I can put
Awesome.
that in
Thank you.
the chat.
Thank you, Dalton.
Yeah. Great question, Sylvia. So yeah, so Kroll, I just spelled that, put in the chat, but that'll be your place to go to check in. After you're done checking in, there's a couple things across campus that you can explore with your friends and family as you see fit. There's dining locations, the Broadhead Center, which students nickname Woo. It's used to be Western Union before it was renamed, and the nickname Woo has stuck. That's a place on campus for a variety of meals that are available to be purchased. Bryan Center is the student union on campus, also known as BC. Again, they have some dining options there as well. So if you need that during the day for lunch, there's also 9th Street, which is pretty close to Duke's East Campus, and there's a lot of local options there. So if you want to get off campus, especially if you're running some errands, that's great locations for you to go. There are a few other places to note on campus. The mailroom is located on the Bryan Center lower level, so you can go check out your mailbox and see what's going on there. Familiarize yourself with that location. Student Health will be doing some immunizations at Penn Pavilion, which is located on the West Campus. So again, if you need some immunizations, you should have that information in your inbox, and you can connect with Student Health and Wellness about those particular needs as well. The University Store is the Bryan Center. I said lower level. It's actually a typo. It's the upper level. But if you need some Duke items, some Duke apparel before you hit the road, again, that's a place that we would recommend checking out. And then finally, if this is your first time on campus, a few of our bigger, most popular points of interests are the Duke Chapel and the Duke Gardens. Again, we might preview this a little bit, but there will be some chances for you as students to interact with those experiences in those locations during your transfer student experience, your orientation experience with project transfer. So a few things to know. Then that night is our big transfer family farewell. This is an annual event that we put on every year on move-in day. It's a chance to bring the entire transfer class together at the end of the night to connect with other families, other transfer students, Duke administrators, and some of our students. It's kind of a nice celebration and wrap up to the move-in day as a whole. This year it's going to be hosted in the Karsh Alumni and Visitor Center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We do need an RSVP for dietary purposes and also head count to make sure we're providing enough food for everybody. So students, you should have received an email in your inbox today. You'll keep getting reminders every day up until next week. We just need you to fill that out in RSVP so we can properly account for your dietary needs. On the event itself, the doors are going to open at 6 o'clock. Food will be served shortly after from 6 to 7:30 before we wrap up there. There will be some welcoming remarks at 7 o'clock. We have some Duke staff members, some leadership members who are making an appearance, and then Ethan and Umahi will have some words as well. So that formal program is going to start at 7. And then after that, it's just a chance to mingle, connect with, again, like I said, other individuals, and just sort of round out the day. Once the doors close at 8 o'clock, that's when Project Transfer officially kicks off. So Ethan and Umahi have some events planned for transfer students. So at the end of the transfer family farewell, you should plan on saying goodbye to your family because you are going to start doing some stuff with your student peers. The other piece to note is we will have some custom jersey distributions. So I think if I go back a slide, you might see these Duke 26 students. Athletics has been kind enough to donate some personalized Duke Blue Devil jerseys to every student. Super cool. We'll have those in hand and available to give out at the transfer family farewell. So another reason to stop by and pick up some of the swag items we got there. Yeah, and then that'll round itself out at 8 o'clock. I think the next piece we have here is about experiential orientation, or EXO, and project transfer specifically. So I think with this, I'm going to turn over to Ethan, who has some information he wants to share. So Ethan, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone, and thanks again for coming. So we're really excited about orientation this year. So I'm just going to give you some information about how that's gonna go. So move-in day after the family farewell, we're all gonna, after you say goodbye to your families, we're gonna go and hang out and do some icebreakers and meet each other, get things going. And so then orientation then lasts another 3 days, and it culminates at the end of Friday, August 22nd, with an outdoor movie in the softball stadium. And over those 3 days, we're going to show you Durham. We're going to take you off campus. We're going to go get ice cream and bowling. And then on campus, we're going to do things including chapel climb, campus tours. We're going to try to get you involved in the athletic scene a little bit. And have some informational sessions that'll feel like conversations with our other orientation leaders to just kind of get you acclimated, show you what Duke's all about, get close to each other, meet people, make friends. We're also, one of the highlights of orientation is our faculty luncheon, where we've reached out to many different professors across Duke in many different disciplines. And they're going to come to lunch with us on Thursday. And so you can sit, eat lunch with them, meet them, talk about what they do, talk about your interests, and start making some of those faculty connections as soon as you get to campus. So that's kind of an overview. We're really excited to have you. I made some of my best friends my first week at Duke in my project transfer orientation. And so we all have that. We all hope the same for you guys, and we all have, it in mind that we're going to make it as easy for you to transition as possible.
Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate that. Umahi, anything you want to add? Chime in. Cool. Great. I think that maybe the only other thing I'll add on and explain or emphasize is that this is not the same orientation that every other freshman student is going to experience. There are some elements that are similar, of like Duke does things very unique compared to some other institutions, potentially including the ones you might have transferred from. So instead of talking about, this is what an office hour is, and this is how you should go meet with professors, it's a little bit more about what does it mean at Duke? Like, how do you flunch, which is getting lunch with a faculty member. So there's some of that is a part of it. So it is a very unique experience, and we really hope that you enjoy it and are able to participate in every part of it. So yeah, thank you for that. I think Ethan and Umay, you've also sent out some information about project transfer in particular. So if you do have specific questions, feel free to hit them up and send some emails back. They're happy to help out. Robin, I see you have a question. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. So maybe try putting it in the chat or the Q&A button, and we can revisit it. Moving right along here. Big events during EXO. So there are a couple of signature events that happen during O Week in particular that are open to all the new to Duke students. Wednesday, there's a class-wide social that'll be happening. Friday is the class photo. There's an East Campus Carnival. Again, some big welcome events that are going on that week. Saturday is the Welcome Back Bash. There'll be some fireworks on the quad in front of the Duke Chapel. The other upper class students are able to start moving back into campus on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They can come and go whenever makes sense for them. So for the first couple of days of your experience, you'll be pretty much the only students who are living on West Campus, which is pretty cool. But your classmates and peers will start moving in at the end of the week. And that's what the Welcome Back Bash is all about. And then finally, there's Sunday New Student Convocation, which is in Cameron Indoor Stadium. That's a really cool experience. So you all are encouraged to attend. For family members who are interested in it, I believe it should be live streamed. The capacity of the venue is only able to fit our new Duke students, unfortunately, but I believe it's going to be live streamed. So keep an eye out for a link for that when it comes up. And then additional academic connections. Ethan mentioned this a little bit with faculty luncheon. So Thursday is a highlight of project transfer. with the faculty luncheon, a chance to connect with some faculty members there. We also have Friday, there's going to be a lot of drop-in advising throughout the afternoon, including a chance to connect with your Quadex, your academic advisors assigned to your residence halls. There'll be some open houses for the pre-health department. So if you're a pre-med or pre-health major, and then departmental open houses. These are primarily going to be for placement exams. So if you have questions about which French class you should take based on what you're bringing in, it's a great way to go and stop by and get those questions answered from the departmental offices themselves. And like I said, Sunday, new student convocation kind of rounds out our O week, and then classes begin the next Monday, the 25th, which is, again, pretty crazy. It's a very full week within Project Transfer, a lot of fun, a lot of need-to-know resources that'll help set you up for success. And then we dive right into the semester the following week, which is wild. Great. I think I only have a couple slides left. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we do welcome weeks at Duke. So it's impossible. Duke is a huge place. There's so many resources and opportunities to get involved and get connected with offices and departments. We just can't fit it all into our 3 days of orientation. So Duke hosts welcome weeks throughout the first 6 weeks of the fall semester. Every week has a different focus with different ways to get involved and get connected. In this case, we have Involvement Week, Arts Week, Culture, Identity, Religion Week, Academic Resources Week, Recreation and Wellness Week, and Tech Week. So if throughout your orientation week, you said, actually, I have a lot of questions about getting involved on campus. How do I do that? What clubs can I join? The Involvement Week's a great way. There's an involvement fair that'll happen on that Friday, which is big. There'll be other drop-in things throughout the semester or throughout the week across campus. There's definitely a focus for you to get connected and learn about some things. So we can't teach you everything in the first week on campus, but we're hoping by the end of 6 weeks, week 6, you'll feel pretty good about where you're at. So that's something to preview for the fall semester. And I think that brings me to my last slide, which is just a big welcome to Duke. We're so excited that you're here, and we can't wait to have you on campus here in a few weeks. I did burn through this pretty quickly. So again, I just want to reiterate that this was recorded. You are welcome to, we'll send it out here in a couple of days. You can review it, rewatch it, pass it on to anybody who couldn't be here, who you think needs to know some of these pieces. And then most importantly, you will be getting an email from housing with your move-in information in the coming day or two at the very latest. So keep an eye out on your Duke email for that. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. It's a great time for any questions you might have. I do see, Dylan, you asked a question about needing to move in on the 18th and early move-in. If you applied through housing, they're the ones who make all those decisions. I would say that I don't know when you apply. If you applied last week and haven't heard back yet, I think it's definitely fair and appropriate for you to send a follow-up email or give them a call. This is their crunch time, right? We're trying to move 1,800 students in the next week or two between first years and transfer students. So I'm sure that their email is just a little bit swamped, but I would reach out to them directly and see if you can get a response. Great question. Sylvia, you have a question?
Yes. Will the dining halls be open for orientation week?
Yes. So once your student meals and family meals are going to be provided starting Tuesday night, and then Wednesday on through the rest of the week, all meals will be eaten as a part of Project Transfer before the student meal plan kicks in on Saturday. So students don't have to provide or account for any meals in their schedule outside of the Tuesday breakfast and lunch periods.
Okay. And you mentioned it wasn't clear to me, when will all the rest of the students arrive? Would that be since Saturday?
Yes. So all the rest of upper class students can start moving in on Friday, the 22nd, and they'll be moving in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that weekend. So every upper class student will make a decision on their own of what day is most important for them to come back.
Oh, okay. And Dalton, one last question. Will the meal times have schedule? Like, are they open from 7 to 10 and, from 12 to 3, or it's open the whole day?
Yeah, so it is open the whole day. Based on Ethan and Umahi's schedule, they've accounted for some specific lunch, dinner, and breakfast times on their schedule. So there is the intention that Project Transfer is all eating together as one group. But once the school year starts, the dining halls are typically open. You could look online at Dining's website, but I think Woo is open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Pretty much every day. And so there's a broad range. They don't close in between meal periods, so students can come and go whenever they want in order to eat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions, things we can help answer, what you might need from us in order to be successful and feel prepared for arriving on campus in a couple of weeks. I don't think I have anything else left on my end. So I think Ethan, Umahi, and I will hang out for a few minutes if there is a specific question you want to ask about. Otherwise, we'll end the Zoom here in a few minutes. But again, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. If you need something in the next couple of weeks, send us an email. But we're so excited to have you on campus on the 19th. We're looking forward to it.